When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. I'm super excited today to be introducing Stephanie Gilezan from Louisville, Kentucky. How you doing today, Stephanie?
I'm doing great, Andre. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. My listeners are in for a treat today. Especially if you're interested in the commercial world. Stephanie has been in the commercial world since 1999. She specializes in commercial land development, asset management, industrial, distressed assets, hospitality since the beginning of her career. She's transacted over 10,000 real estate and business transactions across the nation in multiple countries. And has done over $3 billion in volume. She was an independent broker owner of her own company. And now, of course, with us at EXP. But welcome, Stephanie, and we're excited to get to know you today.
Thank you so much.
So let's just jump right in and just tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your background and your history.
Yeah. So, I was in college with a political science major and set to go to law school when I was graduating in 1999. And I got really involved in the politics into, maybe I'm going to go to law school and become a lobbyist. Well, as I was working in local government, in my internship, I realized all that there has to do with bringing cities to life, bringing in development, changing some policies so that we can see, industry flourish, so that we can see new opportunities. And then with all those opportunities, you saw developments because people needed to live somewhere. And I got really intrigued with the real estate factor of it. So I went ahead and decided to get my real estate license. And upon graduating in college in 1999, I went straight into real estate, or so I thought, right? Well, the problem in my state of Kentucky, you have to, be a full-time real estate agent before you can be a broker owner. Okay. So I had to find that right broker. And I went into 7, 8 different commercial brokerage shops, told them what my experience was, what I wanted to do. And I never play this card. I only know what it is. And I think because they saw a 21-year-old, they assumed absolutely never going to happen. She's never going to do anything. We don't have the time nor the assets to teach her. Right. So the answer was no. Everywhere I went, the answer was no. But ultimately, I found myself at an independent, very small brokerage who happened to be the father of some high school girls that I went to school with and ended up landing there with my license. So, the ultimate goal of going to law school got put on hold because immediately I started doing transactions. My first deal was an industrial land deal, a little bit outside of the city of Louisville. And, my broker that I affiliated with, he was like, look, I don't know anything about what you're doing. He listed and sold houses by, the onesie twosies. And so, I was like, okay, well, I'm fumbling through life. I'm fumbling through real estate. What can I do? How can I benefit myself? And ultimately, I found a broker who wasn't utilizing her brokerage license. And I said, look, would you put me in business? I'll give you percentages of all my commissions. I just want to own my own brokerage and I want to start my own company now, because if I'm going to figure it out by myself, I'm going to do it by myself and I'm not going to build any other wealth doing it. And so I started my first real estate company in 2000 at 21 years old. Wow. And so, a lot of stuff. I literally had to learn everything by fumbling through it. So it took me a little bit. I mean, Sure. I was making good money. I wasn't starving. I was a single mom. So, I had the why. I had to be successful. And more importantly, I had the grit and I had the ability to always grind. I was never the smartest. I just knew. that if I outworked those other guys that told me no, I would win. And that's ultimately what I did. So, it's been a fun, long ride. I say I am a veteran in real estate because it's 24 years now that I've been in the business. I'm 45. I'm no longer 21, but it's still fun. I'll never quit doing this.
Well, I love your energy and your enthusiasm and your grit. That's what it really takes. I mean, nowadays, especially with the, in the market that we're in, if you don't have grit, you don't go very far. I was the same way as far as being willing to put the time and effort and just outwork anyone and always do the right thing. And it always came back around. So I love your style and what you've built. That's pretty amazing to have your own brokerage within your by your next year of being in real estate. And did you focus on commercial right out of the get-go when you started your own company?
My first three deals when I got into the business were in commercial real estate, and then I really loved land. Land has always been something that I appreciated, and so then I really started, not ever giving up any opportunity to do business. Because look, when we're young and we've got a mouth to feed, and that's all our income, by God, I said yes to a lot of things that I would not say yes to today, but I did. We're working our butts off. But, I got involved into the land development sector and representing other developers that wanted to come in and build. And some of those even went into the residential because, housing was something that we needed. And so then I realized, okay, wait a minute, I'm not going to just sit and only be the commercial side of the spectrum, because if I'm putting these land deals together, I'm bringing these new developers to market. They've got houses that they're going to be building. I want that business too. So that's why, having my own real estate company, I started growing in agent count because I needed agents to service that side of the business. And so we were both commercial and residential because, again, I didn't want to say no or limit myself. I wanted to know that I had the experience no matter what was happening in the market, no matter what shifts, no matter what pivots we needed to do. I had full-blown experience to do both.
Yeah, that's smart. That's just smart business. So how many agents did you grow your independent company to?
I planned on never growing that company. I planned on it being me, myself, and I, and then the broker. But it ended up in the first 2 years growing to 48 independent agents.
Oh, wow.
And that's when a national name came and started knocking on the door and started, having conversations with me. A brand that we did not have in Kentucky at the time. So I knew nothing about the brand. I've always had this rule, and I still have this rule. You have to walk through the door and see what's on the other side before you can ever say no to anything. Okay. And I think that that's what makes us great leaders. It also is what makes us great business people in general. You've got to see, you've got to listen, you've got to understand before the answer is no. And so I listened to them. And what was being said was some tremendous things. It was a way to take Gilezan from being local to being national. Or so I thought. Ultimately, I did that. However, it was a franchise model. It was independently owned, operated franchise. And so I had some business partners in that model. And again, it was, once I bought into it, I realized this is the same thing I was already doing. Now I'm just leasing a national name. And so I ultimately stayed with that business for about 4 years. We grew it to 221 agents. And then I sold out my portion of it and went back to being independent in 2008. So in 2008, I was back to Gilezan Realty, which is what I had started with at 21 years old.
Wow. And then what happened?
So 10 years, for 10 years, building the business, really not trying to grow an agent count. I took on producing agents that knew what they were doing, that needed minimal of my time. And we were, even though we were a small independent brokerage, we were always in the top 10 in volume in our market. So we competed with brokerages that had 150 agents, but we were doing more in volume. And, we would make those lists, and I absolutely loved it. By that time, the market, the economy had changed. So we're mastering the short sales. We are doing asset liquidation for major banks. We're, all the developments that builders were abandoning, we're getting it rezoned or doing what's necessary to get it sold and so forth. So we're trotting along and everything is just fine. I'm at the height of everything. I'm loving life. I become a developer myself. I'm building homes in some of these developments. I start really taking on that role of, okay, what's next? And in 2017 is when I was approached by EXP. And remember my rule, you got to walk through the door and see what's on the other side before you can say no. In that time frame, I had a lot of other franchises wanting to purchase my company.
Okay.
And the problem with that is it came with those same kind of mindset rules of, okay, I'm going to rent another name. They're going to pay me for my company. I'm going to rent another name. I'm still going to have to do all this stuff, but I'm no longer going to own it. And I got to be married to them for 10 years. That was what the agreements would be.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Andre, but I didn't marry my husband day one. I dated him for a while. I had to get to know who he was. I mean, I had to understand. And so I couldn't sell my company for one payday to then just be married to something I didn't even know about for the next 10 years. And it wasn't a risk I was willing to take. And so I said no to selling my company. EXP finds me. I walk through the door. I'm looking at it because one of the things at that moment is I was 39 years old, almost 40. I'd built this amazing business. I'm a developer. I'm a builder. I've got, 500 million in listings at the time. And I was a prisoner to that business. Okay. And I think a lot of us fall into that, right? I mean, a lot of us do, because with Stephanie, the wheels were not in motion. Without Stephanie, everything froze. Without Stephanie, the money didn't come in.
Right.
We can only make so much on our agents. I had phenomenal agents and they were paying me split. But you know what? I was also the bank, because I had to pay all that overhead. Right. I had all the liability. I couldn't abandon them and turn my phone off and just take a chill pill or just be done for a moment, because I had to be there for them. If I wasn't there for them, I didn't deserve to receive that split, right? And so I was a prisoner to my business. And for the first time, I started thinking about, oh my gosh, what if something happens to me? What happens to my business? My husband couldn't step in and just become the principal broker and keep the brokerage going. I didn't have any agents in the business that were of that, that had the license or had the management experience to be able to do that. And so I really started worrying about what happens when there is no Stephanie Gilezan. Well, I'll tell you what happens. The money goes away. The business goes away. My 3 kids are going to wake up with a different lifestyle and hopefully that never happens. But if it does, that's what would have happened. And that was a massive fear factor for me. So when I first saw EXP, my gut reaction was, oh, no, because I was under the impression, like so many, that yet again, it's that national global company that you're going to rent a name.
Right. And
then I saw it and I saw, wait a minute, this is exactly what I was looking for back when the first brand found me in 2004, but that was the independently owned and operated franchise. And here it is, for the first time, a true network that I can plug my existing business into, not lose my identity, but have everything that I need to not be the prisoner to my business. And that excited me. And so I kept looking at it. And, I looked at the structure of the technology and the tools that were provided and the education and the way for my agents to learn more than what I had to offer, right? I mean, we get so comfortable in our skin. we believe that because we're out making $1 million or more in gross commission income, that we have mastered this business, when the truth of the matter is that we haven't. We've only mastered our local mindset. And so what I saw in the opportunity with EXP was a way for me to no longer be a prisoner. But just as that was important to me, it was so important for my agents to be able to make that change and it do nothing but improve their volume of business, improve their financial future, and improve and give them a way to be that same person that I had been all those years, which was the broker owner collecting splits off agents. Right. Now, here's the opportunity for them to not have to take all the risk, to never have that liability, and to have access to everything they need to stay and be more relevant in the industry without taking any of that on. And I thought, wow, whoever did this is a genius. This is amazing. And so that was the opportunity that I saw. And it's the opportunity, it's 5 years now that I've been with EXP, and we've done exactly what I thought. No longer am I a prisoner to my business. I've gone from 100 million in GCI to 500 million in GCI. We have built an organization to where if something happens to me today, my kids wake up tomorrow with the same income revenue that they're used to today. Nothing changes for them. Without Stephanie Gilezan on earth, this ship still goes round and round and round, which is what it's supposed to be. My agents that I brought with me, which all of them came from Gilezan Realty to EXP, all have found those same financial freedoms, and they have all accelerated in this industry. We've gone from mastering our local market to truly building our business across 36 states. In commercial real estate, that's important because my clients aren't just in Louisville, Kentucky. They're all over the world. Right. And I have more clients now because I'm not just that local broker that can only do deals in the state of Kentucky. I can now represent them across all 50 states that EXP is open in. And so we have just scaled and scaled and scaled and done something that, you couldn't set out to do as an individual. I'm not going to go out and get licensed in 50 states. I'm not going to sit through 50 states worth of continuing ed year after year, right? So, it's pretty tremendous as to, what all we're doing, but it's the collaboration. It's being able to know you and to be able to call you and say, Andre, what do you think of this? And you doing the same with me. And that's what we have with 87,000 agents across this globe with EXP. And the referral business has been off the charts as well.
Yeah, I imagine that the referrals that you get, being that, your organization is doing, mostly commercial, there must be, I know there's tons of residential agents in EXP that want to hand off some commercial referrals. Has that been a game changer for your company?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is what's great about it is that, look, we can all master the line of business that we want, right? And there's so many agents with this company that they're doing 200, 300, 800 home sales a year, and that is their focus, and that's where they want it to stay. But they're also smart enough to go back to their spheres and their past clients and their existing clients and say, hey, do you have any commercial or business needs? Because, our business partners at EXP Commercial offer that services. And then they're making an entire new revenue stream on referral fees by referring it off to the commercial brokers and agents with the company. And then with the commercial agents that I speak to, look, I ask them one question right out of the gate. What'd you pay your broker last year? That's what I ask the commercial people, because it's an astronomical amount of money if they're doing deals. Now, if they're not doing deals, they didn't pay them nothing. But if they're doing deals and they're here to scale their business, then I ask them that question, because I hear everything from $57,000 to $130,000 to $200,000. We brought a team over that paid M&M last year $464,000 in split. Okay, $464,000. If they had been with EXP Commercial, they would have paid no more than $20,000. Talk about a pay raise. Look, I look at this as an economy of opportunities, right? This is where the toughest of us all find those opportunities. We succeed no matter what gets put in front of us. But for those that are really looking about, okay, how is this economy going to affect me? Well, number one, you got to solve something. It's not build more business. No. Number one that you have to do is figure out how you keep more money in your pocket. That's number one. So do that first. Okay. EXP commercial, 20K. You're never going to pay the brokerage more than 20K in a year. That's number one. Number two, now let's focus on scaling your business. And so that's what I always, when I'm having these conversations, and I have a lot of them across the country, and I've attracted people to EXP from Cushway, Colliers, NAI, Marcus and Millichap, CBREs, JLLs, SVN, you name it, and independents. They're always worried about, well, where are my deals going to come from? How can I scale my business? And I'm like, look, you're on a 50-50 or a 60-40 split. You need to worry about how do you keep more of that money in your pocket first. Then let's get your business fixed. I don't want to help you learn how to pay your broker more money this year. I want to help you keep that money in your pocket. And so that's the simple conversation.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I know in most commercial brokers there is no cap, right? I mean, you just keep paying and paying and paying.
You do. You do. Yeah, and you don't get any tools, right? You don't get many tools at all. You don't get the right technology. Look, here's the thing. All of those companies I mentioned, they're the same thing that I went through back in 2004. They're renting a national name, but they're part of an independently owned and operated franchise. Your office is only as good as your owner wants to take you. What you receive is only as much as he or she is willing to pay for you to have, right? It's the same thing. And, they're so territorial at the same time where, they're like, oh, we bought this territory. So, just because you're with NAI in Arizona doesn't mean you can come to Nevada and touch our deals. You got to give those to us. So they're extremely territorial as well. And so there's a lot of reasons why the commercial model is so outdated. I mean, look, in residential, Andre, you've seen it. I mean, come on, you had traditional real estate back in the day, the good old boys, right? And then the Remaxes came in and kind of turned it upside down a bit. And then KW and, the whole thing comes and EXP and, we've got competitors as well. But in commercial, that's never happened. It's never even been an option. And so when you're speaking to commercial practitioners, they're not used to hearing the words cap. They're like, what's a cap? They don't know what that means. Now, if they're with KW commercial, they understand that, but not the rest of them. So I always say it simply. Look, once you make $100,000 in gross commission income, you're 100% with EXP. You are going to earn stock so that you're also part owner of this multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company with absolutely no debt. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a game changer. When you joined EXP, we didn't even have a commercial department yet.
That's right.
So I know, and you helped get that, a lot of that off the ground, but what's available for a commercial agent coming into EXP as far as tools and systems and collaboration and help to really, grow their business?
Well, when they come to EXP commercial, the technology tools that they receive, it's $250 a month. But with that, you're getting nearly $3,000 worth of technology tools, which is why most of them haven't had the ability to experience these tools. But, they're getting a full-blown marketing center to make their OMs, they're offering memorandums, their flyers, their web pages, their landing page, all that stuff that they need to be relevant in the business. They're also getting syndication out to national commercial advertising platforms so that they're not manually uploading their listings in 16, 17 different softwares. They upload it once and boom, it goes out. And so that way it takes up some of the time. But they're also getting access to national and global data, which in commercial, we have to have that, right? We're not on the MLS searching for past sales. I mean, it just doesn't exist. We need access to data. We need access to real comps. And so they're getting those subscriptions so that they have the ability to do that. What I'm focused on now and what I just finished training on, Andre, because we do a lot of that here at EXP. We share how we make money with people. I love this company because of that. But I was just showing about 60 different people how I said, look, let's go after some low-hanging fruit right now. So we get into our data service, our data system. And I said, okay, we're going to look for every commercial property out there. I don't care what asset class, every commercial property that has a loan coming due in the next 6 months, because guess what? They got a loan coming due. When they go to refinance that, if they can refinance that, that interest rate is going to be drastically different than what they had. Right. So look, what's commercial all about? Making money, right? You know, people want to know what is the return on investment going to be? Well, the numbers get all in disarray when you go from a 3% or a 4% interest rate all the way up to an 8%. It's going to be different. And so I'm showing them how to go after these off-market properties and obtain listings or obtain a property for their buyers by going after the debt, seeing who's got a problem coming up, because that is in fact a problem. And so, you know, those things, that's how you drum up business. But then on top of that, utilizing all the technologies that they've implemented for us to scale our business and keep, you know, growing, but it's plugging into the 87,000 residential agents across this country that don't know how to do commercial deals, nor do they have time to learn. Right? And then, you know, EXP Commercial, not only are we doing commercial transactions, but we're doing business transactions. So when you've got a client that wants to buy or sell a business, we're handling those too. Our E&O insurance is covering all of that. And so that's what this company is about. It's exactly what I stated, you know, back in 2018 when I decided to bring my entire brokerage over. I was looking for a way to do business, scale it, but get all of the liability, get all of just the nuances of trying to do it alone. You know, come on, we always find ourselves having to be the innovator, the facilitator, the doer, the you know, all of it. This is a way for somebody to bring, whether they have an existing commercial business or they're brand new and want to get into commercial business, this is the fastest way to scale at EXP Commercial because it's built for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. When you talk about, you know, like a new agent who wants to get into commercial, maybe they've been in residential for a while and they want to switch over, or maybe they're like you and just want to jump into the commercial field right from the get-go. What advice would you give someone like that, and why would they want to plug in here at EXP?
Well, the advice I'm going to give everybody, no matter where they're going to plug into, is that if you go into commercial real estate, I want you to have a pretty decent sized nest egg, because the deals take longer to close, right? Sure. You know, you can go into leasing and land some good licks quick, but still, you've got to have money to make money. And that's any entrepreneurial business. Right. And so I say that first because, you know, that's got to be put out there. But if you are really ready to make commercial your start, you've got to have good training. See, I never had the mentorship. I never had somebody I could truly learn from. I never had a class that I could plug into on Zoom or in EXP World and learn how to properly represent a multifamily property or retail or hospitality, whatever the case might be. I never had that. That's why I fumbled for quite some time and didn't make the kind of money I really wanted to make because I was learning as I went. Right. But here, they have built those systems. EXP has put together those systems. There's more training than anybody knows what to do with. And you can take it as you go. You know, you don't have to learn everything week one or even month one that you come. You start plugging into it, you know, a few times a week. And then if you want to get from 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, then start plugging into it and make it your number one focus. And if you make that your number one focus, because this is going to be your number one way of earning your money and be your career, then it's here for you to be able to have the ability to do so.
That's awesome. Now, if you're talking to a commercial agent that's been around for a while and you know, has done a lot of deals, but, you know, does like the support of their of their broker office, of where they're in, where you talk about EXP being cloud-based. How do you describe the broker support at EXP?
Oh, we've got brokers in all states. We've got contract compliance specialists. We've got concierge. We've got more staff than, anybody would ever need, way more than what a typical office is going to have. And when somebody says to me that, oh, I like going to my office and I like feeling comfortable there. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, what are you really doing in the office? Because that's not where business happens. Business happens on the phone. Business happens building relationships. And if you surround yourself with the same 4 or 16 people every single day, you haven't made one new relationship, which means you're never going to make any new business, right?
Right.
So I challenge people to think differently, because when you get yourself out of that mentality is when you truly expand and scale past anything you could have ever imagined. If somebody told me 5 years ago, you joining EXP meant 5 years later, you were going to have listings in 36 states and 4 different countries, I would have said, yeah, right, I'm dreaming. But it's true. 5 years ago, I didn't think like that, Andre, at all. It had to take me getting to be a part of this company to see that bigger picture. I was always a big dreamer, and always making those dreams come true. But I never would have imagined 5 years ago that I would have listings in 36 states and 4 different countries and doing deals all over the place. Never, ever would I have bet on myself.
That's amazing. Where do you see your business in 5 years from now, Stephanie?
Just it continuously expanding. I mean, we have got, my farmland used to be Kentucky, because that's where I am, Now my farmland is the globe. Wherever EXP goes, I'm going. And I have the ability to do so. And the day that I decide that I don't want to do this anymore, I have built a tremendous team that can step right in. I still reap rewards and benefits, and they keep it going. We have built the machine. It's unstoppable. It is uncrashable, and it will always make money because of the way this model was built. And so, look, this is the Financial Freedom Podcast. So I'm glad you had me on, because this is what financial freedom is.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's amazing especially when you start building a team. I mean, people understand having a team inside your office, but not that many really understand, the global team and having an organization. I mean, I'm in over 30 states as well, and I think 5 provinces in Canada, and we're growing every day without my efforts. And I know it's been, life-changing for me. How is your business and personal life changed, knowing that you have that foundation and that organization now, because of what you started with your commercial company?
Well, I told you before, I got into development and, building subdivisions, developing strip centers, offices, you name it. And, before EXP, I had my brokerage and I had my commission income and I had rentals, with income, right? I've always been that 1099, broker owner, business owner. And that was my income streams. And, great credit, all those good things. But how the banks are when you go and get, a $6 million loan to buy a development, it's going to be okay, we got to look at this a little bit, and so forth. And then after I started, after I joined EXP and I'm building my organization, which wasn't even intentional. It just happened because of reputation and just having conversations and being the storyteller that I am. People were like, wait a minute, I need to know about this. If you're this excited, I want to know about it. And so as that started to happen and the revenue benefits and all the stock that I'm earning and all these things, I go to the bank and they're like, wow, the CPA saying, oh my goodness, because it's constant. It's not about, what are you going to sell this year and make commission on? It's this constant income flow that's coming in from this publicly traded company. And the bankers were extremely comfortable with that, so it elevated me to be able to do some things that I couldn't do when I was on my own. And that means, reaping the rewards, right? I mean, totally reaping the rewards. And so in the last 5 years, not only has my income, constantly elevated, but my earnings have also, because I've been able to do more. I have been able to invest in more. I have become a much larger developer. I can build more strip centers or houses in any given year because my liquidity has drastically improved.
Yeah, what a huge opportunity.
Yes, for sure.
Well, congratulations, Stephanie. I mean, I'm really excited to get to know you more and hear your story. And I think it's, uplifting to a lot of probably broker owners and agents out there that do feel, like you said, they, what's the word that you use?
Prisoner.
Felt like a prisoner. Yeah.
Prisoner, I love it. I mean, I will work in this industry. I love it. I do. So I have no reason to ever stop, but I love the fact now that the day I want to, I can, and I still earn. That's what I love.
That's Financial Freedom Forever podcast is all about learning and helping people become financially free. So when they do want to slow down someday, that they're able to, and all the hard work that we put into it actually goes automatically to our family and our loved ones, right? It doesn't stop with us.
That's right.
That's amazing. Well, before we close out, any last words of wisdom for any of our commercial listeners out there that you'd like to share?
Oh, look, I encourage them to reach out to you. I mean, seriously, this is something that, look, people don't like change, but when change is good, change is the best. And that's what people need to look at. Right now, there's a lot of things changing. The economy's changing, everything. So just go ahead and take a look at it because, again, everybody owes it to themselves to look at everything that ever comes in front of them. You really should, because that's how we learn. That's how we grow. And so I encourage everyone to take a look at it because number one problem solve rule this year, and this should have been everybody's New Year's resolution. Everybody says, oh, I'm going to lose weight, right? I think that's the number one, New Year's resolution every single year. Well, it should have been, how do I keep more money in my pocket? Not how do I make more money, but how do I keep more money in my pocket? Everyone should be thinking that way. And we have that answer, and they just need to explore it with us.
Yeah, that's right. So thanks everyone for listening. If you have any questions for myself or Stephanie, our phone numbers are on the screen there. Reach out to us. We're in all 50 states and 25 countries, residential, commercial, and everything in between. So we can certainly answer your questions. My final question I always ask everyone before we leave, Stephanie, if you're a book reader, what's the most favorite book that you would like to recommend, or a movie watcher? What's your all-time favorite movie?
Oh my goodness. So my all-time favorite movie, because my husband says that I am the female version of this, is what's the Alec Baldwin 80s movie, The Real Estate? What's the name of it?
Sure.
Oh, what is the name of it? That's my all-time favorite movie. If no one's ever watched that, watch that. If you need to get fired up, if you're in real estate and you want to get fired up, that's what you got to watch. So if I had known,
for closer one.
No. What is that? Glenn Ross. There's that one scene.
Yeah.
Watch it. If you want to get fired up and get your stuff in gear, watch that one scene about him, talking to his agents inside the office.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Hey, thanks for your time today, Stephanie. I really appreciate you. I'm sure I'll see you on our weekly influencer calls and at our next live event, but thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Listen to what our business partners are saying about our FFF group.
being a part of our 3Fs group with my luxury brand, to be able to go out there and know that we have such like-minded, amazing, dedicated, hardworking, and passionate people, that knowledge and that ability to be able to reach out and someone to answer within minutes of me having any questions that I might have has been just unbelievably amazing. And I'm so happy to be a part of this group.
What I love most about the Financial Freedom Forever group is the culture of helping and the amount of resources that are available out there for agents who want to grow their business. You can access 4 or 5 different training sessions per week is awesome.
I believe if you surround yourself with like-minded people that are doing 10, 15, 20 times more than me and you put together, we all bring each other up and bring our businesses to the next level and our lives. To learn more about how to partner with us, go to partnerwithandre.com or click the link below, and let's have a conversation.